Welcome on in to a Thursday. It is March 19th, and there is a lot going on. By the way, I love the Jones newscast, specifically the weather forecast, mostly sunny today, pleasant, like Jones newscast, and 72 degrees. And appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News, powered by Tennessee National Golf and Waterfront Community. Find them online, TennesseeNational.com. So a few headlines regarding the war. Headline from the Daily Mail. Pentagon is asking the White House, they say, for $200 billion as Donald Trump considers deployment of thousands of troops for the next phase in the war with Iran. So there's a couple of different outlets reporting this. The Washington Post is one, reporting the Pentagon has asked for the $200 billion. And so it's going to be interesting to imagine the Democrats having to approve $200 billion for a war that they largely oppose, because the Pentagon has asked the White House to ask for the funding from Congress. And, of course, we all know that in Congress there's a bunch of Trump-hating Democrats and also some Republicans as well. So now we're 3 weeks in, and we've taken out their Navy, a lot of their ability to launch missiles, although they do still have some capabilities. We've cyber-attacked them. We've killed a bunch of their leaders. Another option, of course, with the $200 billion, we might be talking about ground forces as well to capture and control Karg Island. That is their hub for oil experts in Iran. And there's also discussions of sending in troops to secure Iran's uranium, which is some of what they need for nuclear weapons. And so there's a lot going on, a lot of headlines. Also, Joan was reporting in the news that, of course, you all know that yesterday Israel attacked Iran's oil fields, and now Iran has attacked the world's biggest liquefied natural gas complex in Qatar, targeting a gas field and a facility in the United Arab Emirates as well, fired missiles and launched drones on Saudi Arabia on Thursday following Israel's bombing of Iran's South Pars gas field a day earlier. So that is quite an escalation. Joan talked about how that is an escalation. Now Donald Trump is saying, all right, everybody leave the oil fields alone. Everybody leave the energy alone. Donald Trump is trying to sort of contain the fallout of all of this because obviously everyone is worried about the cost of gasoline. J.D. Vance was in Michigan yesterday, and one of the things that he said is, okay, so if there is a continuation of a spike in gas prices, that is going to be temporary, and when this whole thing is over, they will crash. This is J.D. Vance talking about what happened in the last couple of days.
What is the administration doing to help keep gas prices down, and where do you see gas prices going here in the near future?
Well, the President of the United States has been crystal clear about this. Look, gas prices are up, and we know they're up, and we know that people are hurting because of it, and we're doing everything that we can to ensure that they stay lower. I will say, the president said this, and I certainly agree with it. This is a temporary blip, okay? What happened under the Biden administration is that gas prices were high for 4 years. Gas prices are higher right now, and frankly, they're not even as high as they were during certain parts of the Biden administration because of what's going on in the Middle East. It's not going to last forever. We're going to take care of business. We're going to come back home, and when that happens, you're going to see energy prices come back down to reality. But in the meantime, we got...
Yeah, so that is J.D. Vance. Joan, are you looking at gas prices when you fill up?
Sort of, kind of. So down by me, they're expensive. But I went to BJ's this week. Mm-hmm. I paid $3.069 per gallon at the BJ's.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's obviously cheap. Cheaper than a lot of places.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it cheap.
Well,
yeah.
No.
But I'm seeing $3.69, $3.79,
$3.89. It is now sport for me when I'm driving into work, I'm looking at everybody's gas prices. Because my place that I go to, like right near my house, is $3.69. So that's what they are charging in North Mount Juliet. I get down to 70. And they're like $3.79, $3.89, $3.92. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of difference, sometimes 20, 30 cents difference per gallon. So for me, I am just checking it out. You know what I want to do? If you are on the road right now, if you can safely text in when you're driving in what the gas prices are at your place of gas where you'd like to get your gas. Let me know what the gas prices are, because I would be very interested to know. There just is a lot of variance. And I always wonder, why is it one place can charge $3.69 and another one charge $3.89 or $3.90? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and the gas prices, I think we all got to face facts. They are going to continue to go up until this whole thing is over. And that is why Donald Trump is trying to de-escalate everyone and tell everyone, including Israel, lay off of the gasoline, the oil fields, lay off of the oil fields, because that is going to screw everybody. And so there's a lot to that, and we'll continue to keep an eye on it. But
Do you use Gas Buddy by any chance?
you know what? I don't, and I should.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, you can put the map feature up wherever you are and then zoom in on it, and you can see where the gas prices are.
All right, so how far are you willing to drive out of your way
There you
to
go.
save
That's
money?
the question, right?
Well, Joan,
Yeah.
how far out of your way are you willing to drive to save 10, 15 cents a gallon on gasoline?
So because I travel so far, it's kind of easy for me to look all the way down from Nashville all the way down to Manchester to see like where the cheapest prices are. So
Okay.
I just hit the cheapest place on the way home.
All right.
Yeah, so that
Very
was
good.
in Laverne. That BJ's in Laverne had really good prices. Now, right now, let me see if I can go back to the other. Oh, I see. It just sent me all the way out. But you can also see in an area where exactly there's a list of the cheapest prices. You don't even have to drive around and look. You can
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Yeah, I
check
don't.
that out. It's good. It's a good resource.
I would be hard pressed to drive too far out of my way to save, a couple of cents on
Yeah.
a gallon of gas. But my place tends to be pretty much cheaper than most of the other places in my area anyway. I'm not going to tell y'all exactly where it is because I want to keep it my little secret.
It's
But-
very selfish of you, Dan.
Well,
The cheapest place around here, and now in the Nashville area,
Yes.
I just put it in, Kroger in Columbia has $3.09.
no, 309.
$3.09. The Walmart in Madison, $3.15. Same for the Sam's Club in Hendersonville. That's $3.15.
Okay.
Costco, Hendersonville, $3.19. So we're all, pretty much around that same area, the same
Yep.
neighborhood of prices.
All right.
BJ's in Mount Juliet, $3.28.
That is close to my house in a far away kind of a way. But, $3.29 is good because that is like 40 cents cheaper
Yeah.
than the place that I've been going to. Now, 40 cents a gallon, that is worth driving out of your way.
Yeah, I think so.
That is
Yeah.
worth driving out of your way. By the way, I got to hand it to Joan. She was spot on. Joe Kent ends up on Tucker Carlson's show.
I nailed it yesterday. I said it.
You did. We were like, oh, he's going to end up on Tucker. He's going to end up on Candace Owens, perhaps.
Yep.
So I've got a lot of audio of Joe Kent. You've got Joe Kent, Donald Trump's former head of, what is it? What was he in the
my
Trump
gosh.
administration? I keep wanting to say cybersecurity, and it's not cybersecurity.
No.
Counterterrorism.
Former director of the United
Counterterrorism.
States National Counterterrorism Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
now,
why I keep
was that
wanting to make-
appearance on Tucker before or after the FBI opened an investigation?
Well, and that's all part of my discussion. They are saying that he was under FBI investigation, and that's one of the reasons why he resigned. So, and yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Dude is apparently a serial leaker, but I'm also, I know enough to know that one of the first things that you do if you've got a traitor in your ranks is to try to take out his character. So,
Serial leaker sounds like slightly more encouraging.
yeah, I
Than the
mean,
nickname.
he
Like
is
a bedwetter.
Okay, whatever. I mean, he's been leaking. The Trump administration is saying that he's been leaking, and for the Trump administration, they're trying to figure out a way now to handle this fallout. Although I think that they have, because when Trump put out the tweet from 2020 where he was employing Donald Trump to go after Iran, which is exactly what Trump is doing now, then he completely loses all credibility. Because as Chris Hand said yesterday, he sounds like an opportunist. And as I said yesterday, the guy is merely quitting, and I'm air quoting, quitting before they can fire him. And now he's going to end up on The View. Obviously, as we said, Tucker Carlson, he's going to come out with a book. He's going to be all over the networks. And so, part of my question is going to be, okay, so if you are somebody who is more middle of the road, right? So you're not convinced that Donald Trump is the devil, and you're somebody who doesn't believe that everything that Donald Trump is right. You're just more of a free-thinking kind of guy. Does Joe Kent have any credibility? So we'll talk about that as well.
You know what I think about Joe Kent?
What do you think about Joe Kent?
I think Joe Kent has a wife problem.
Okay. Would you like to expound on that? I know what happened to his first wife, and
Yes.
It's not pretty.
Right. She was killed in a terrorist attack, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So he remarried Heather Kaiser. She has backed her husband's resignation. She's a writer for The Gray Zone, a publication critical of U.S. and Israel foreign policy. She has a military background. She's an artist, but she has co-authored pieces with Max Blumenthal and others on topics like Ukraine and foreign policy. She's clearly a lefty, and she's taken, in my humble opinion, she's taken Joe Kent and moved him from the Trump supporting, even like juice drinking believer in Donald Trump and his policies, and moved him away.
It's always the women, isn't it? It's always the women.
Repeal the 19th.
So, here's what I mean by that. Wasn't
Hillary Clinton? Yes, a problem.
No, Hillary Clinton was a problem, but also Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick
yes.
was a normal guy.
Yes.
And then he ends up with this, woman of his, wife of his, whatever it is, and she completely turned him into what he ultimately became, which is a social justice warrior. And so, I'm not saying that Kaepernick maybe perhaps didn't have it in him, but a lot of people say that is what happened to Colin Kaepernick.
It takes a special person to make you realize your grandparents that raised you are really racist pieces of crap.
Right. That's the state of mind of Colin Kaepernick after he ended up with this, girlfriend and then I believe wife of his. And what you're saying, Joan, is that Joe Kent turned when he met this second wife of his.
Yep.
All right. Well.
Yep.
Hope it was worth it. Whatever. Listen, if this is how he feels, listen, everybody's got an opinion. And as far as I know, he may have broken some laws with the leaks. We'll have to see ultimately what happens. But he's got a right to free speech. And as long as he's not leaking any classified information, which he may have, we don't know. But, he does have a right to go on Joe Rogan, and he does have a right to go on The View and these other places and speak about his experiences, as long as he's not violating any agreements that he may have signed to, not spill any state secrets.
Yeah.
Would you say that should he end up on The View, that's like the lowest of the low as far as your media tour can go and something like this? Is it rock bottom?
No, it's not actually. If you no. Here's what I'm going to say. If you are looking for a lot of coverage, you want to be on The View because it's a friendly interview. They're like, even collectively, they're just not the brain trust that is going to challenge this guy, Joe Kent. Now, there may be, I don't know who the conservative is on there these days, but they're very soft conservatives, if you know what I mean. So I think if you want to talk about the bottom of the barrel, MS Now. That's where you want to go, right? Do we all agree? So.
Valid.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
By the way, the Gray Zone is a site often criticized by mainstream outlets for its anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian stances. So that's who she's like. That's her mindset. Mm-hmm. And that's what he goes home to every night.
Mamdani has a crazy wife too.
Yes.
Mamdani's wife.
Do you have that story?
Is nuts. No, I just know from previous reading that
there was more that came out last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
About his wife?
Yeah.
Oh, golly gee. Do you have it? Did I really just say, oh, golly gee?
You said, oh, golly gee. When's the last time you said, oh, golly gee?
Probably last week.
Probably watching the Adam West Batman.
All right, here we go. Came out 10 hours ago. This is from the New York Post. Mayor Zohran Mamdani's wife, Rama, celebrated Palestinian terrorists in a flurry of resurfaced social media posts that she made as a teenager and in her early 20s. The Big Apple's first lady, already under fire for her troubling past social media activity, used her Tumblr account to hail Palestinian plane hijacker Layla Khalad and other members of the terror group Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. She's 28 now. She used the now inactive account while she was living in the Middle East. It linked her post in part to using facial recognition technology. Oh, how about that?
Wow. Well, okay, the question is, because that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Does she still feel that way? Yes. I mean, I'm just assuming that she still feels that way.
Yeah, you got to present evidence in the contrary.
Remember Mamdani? Do you remember when Mamdani, I don't have the story in front of me, but I did it a couple of times, where he did that rap song where he was praising a couple of guys who gave money
the
and supported. The something five. Look that up real quick. So, I mean,
the post says that in September 2017, she posted a photo of Khaled, who took part in the plane hijackings in 1969 and 1970 with a caption quoting one of her most famous lines, quote, "If it does good for my cause, I'd be happy to accept death."
Okay.
She seems normal.
That's a perfectly reasonable reaction to things. But, I mean, here's the deal. Isn't that what the terrorists feel?
Yes.
Like they welcome death. And so it's hard to do battle. I was reading the thing the other day. You know, you talk to military experts and terrorism experts, and it's like, okay, so how do you defeat an enemy who they want to die? And so, you know, like the men with the virgins, I mean, I don't know if you're a woman, what's awaiting you if you die as a martyr, whatever it is. But, I mean, she obviously welcomes that, too.
Oh.
She had an Instagram post celebrating the October 7th attack as well. So.
That was where Mamdani tried to say she's not a public figure, guys.
Yep.
Oh,
she gets special treatment, even though she's the first lady of New York. But in 2017, the rap song Salam, in which he referenced the Holy Land Five.
Yes.
Which, by the way, his rap moniker, Mr. Cardamom. You name yourself after a spice?
Cardamom?
Yeah.
Mamdani said, "My love to the Holy Land Five. You better look them up." Who are the Holy Land Five? The 5 leaders of the Holy Land Foundation for Relief and Development, a Texas-based charity convicted in 2008 of providing material support to Hamas.
Yep. Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah, he was praising these guys, and that's why Andy Ogles, remember this whole story?
Yes.
Andy Ogles wanted to take away his naturalization status because he was lending support to terrorists or people that support terrorist organizations. And I'm going all this from memory, but
yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah, but okay. So I mean, this is.
When you fill out that form, you have to check a box that says, I have not donated to any known terrorist organizations that hate the United States.
Or lended support to. Yeah, that's exactly right. So as crazy as people thought Andy Ogles was, and I had him on the show, as crazy as people thought Andy Ogles was, when you looked at it and you looked at his reasoning, it made perfect sense. Now, obviously, nobody wanted to go down that road, whatever. But, I mean, for me, it's obvious that Mamdani and his wife complement each other clearly, and one of the things that they have in common is a hatred of Israel and a love of terrorism. That's just what it seems like to me. So no, but good catch, Joan. I had no idea that she was in the news today.
Yeah,
and you might want to go back even a few more years and see if you can find her MySpace account.
Ooh, yeah.
I bet you that she was posting some stuff on MySpace when she was 12.
Hold on, she's 28?
Yeah.
She probably wasn't on MySpace.
Oh, no?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't have... Joan, did you have a MySpace? No, because we were too old.
Well, I did because my niece was on it, and I was trying to...
Be hip.
Help her. No, I was trying to help her, and my kids were really young at that time, but she was a little bit older, and I was trying to help her out. So I tried to hang out with her on MySpace and be the cool aunt.
If we not. If you try to get on your old MySpace, obviously
No.
it's no longer active. Sam, are you on MySpace?
Never.
Okay.
It's too young for me. Now, I'll be 30 in a month.
So how old would somebody have to be if Amy had a MySpace? My wife had a MySpace.
Yeah, there
and
you
she's
go.
I'd say
40.
mid to late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah,
would be
yeah.
a peak window for it.
You want to hear that ZipRecruiter spot again?
Not exactly.
Have you
Why?
ever? Have you ever? It played twice in one break, and it's
Oh.
so. Here's what happens in like the 5 o'clock because people are commenting on the super text line.
Yeah.
Enough with the ZipRecruiter commercial. I guess it ran a couple of times.
It's not done.
Do you know what the best thing is about that ZipRecruiter commercial that we keep hearing? That it's not Cars for Kids.
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, come on,
There's
man.
that.
I don't know what it is about like the 5 o'clock hour because it's early in the morning.
Yeah.
And so it's like a commercial dumping ground. Do you know what I mean? And so hopefully we won't hear it all that much after the 6 o'clock hour. We used to have
This
one
is
commercial.
The make good hour.
Yes, I remember quite some time ago, we had not only Cars for Kids, but we also had a commercial where somebody's stomach was gurgling and it sounded
Yes.
like, yeah, and it was like a diarrhea commercial or something. I don't know what the heck it was.
And every morning, Johnny and I would look at each other and go, I can't believe this is
And then
playing first thing.
And then we isolated, I isolated the sound of the stomach gurgling and I started playing it over and over
How
again.
very teenager-ish of you.
I got in trouble. I got called down to sales and then, Dan, do we have a problem?
That's funny. 4859 says, at least it's not the bowel movement spot.
Yes, exactly. I would have, do other radio stations in their 5 o'clock hour, do they get the commercial dumping ground that we do?
I think
don't
so.
know.
I think it's endemic of
I'm
every
usually
radio
listening
station.
to WTN at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you should too. Anyway. Sean Ryan had Joe Kent on about 3 months ago. And people are saying that this audio that I'm about to play proves that Joe Kent, Donald Trump's now former head of counterterrorism, is lying or has flipped on the dangers of Iran. Now, I want to listen to this very closely. I've listened to it a couple of times. Remember what Joe Kent said. Joe Kent said in his resignation letter, and he has said that he didn't feel like an attack from Iran was imminent. That's what he said, right? So this is what he said on Sean Ryan I think this was, when was this? Was this it wasn't 3 months ago. I think somebody said it was 3 months before Trump was elected. But listen to this. This is Sean Ryan and Joe Kent.
They're still registering for the draft, aren't they? Like that's the logical conclusion to the direction that we're heading in right now, unless we make some serious changes.
I mean, I've already heard rumors that Fifth Group is going to be sending guys to Iraq because of the escalated situation with Iran now.
Yeah. I mean, most Americans aren't aware of it. Our troops in Iraq and Syria have been attacked 150 plus times by Iranian proxies. And when we say Iranian proxies, we got to be clear on what that is. That's the Iraqi government that we pay. Because after the Iraqi military we spent $2 trillion on surrendered to ISIS, we had to go back in there in very short order and stand the military back up again. And guess who filled the breach? The Shia militias controlled by Iran did. And the Iraqi government's controlled by Iran. So these are...
All right, so that is Joe Kent, and that was on the Sean Ryan podcast. That was, let's see, when was this original interview? Let's see, somebody said 3 months before President Trump's election. So that was 3 months before Trump's election when Joe Kent was talking about the dangers, the perils of not only Iran, but also Iran's proxies, right? So... for me, when I hear that, I do believe that Joe Kent is, Chris Hand used the term yesterday, and I do believe that it is appropriate. I think that he is an opportunist. And I think that now he is going around and he's talking about, oh, by the way, guys, I think it was you, Sam, that asked, what is the lowest of the low on leftist liberal media? And I said MSNBC or MS Now. I actually got one lower, a Joy Reid podcast.
Ooh.
That would be the lowest of the low.
Is it really a podcast or is it some crazy lady rambling?
I think she's a crazy lady rambling. If that's what you want to call a podcast, I guess that's all fine, well, and good. But people still, people must be watching her. I don't think that she's getting any. I don't think that she's getting any money for her podcast. I can't imagine that she is.
Oh, there's got to be a good percentage of the population. Like I've noticed this trend the last couple of years has just spiraled upwards in the hate following and the hate watching. Like there are people that are set to, and I hate to dive into this. The upcoming season of The Bachelorette features a girl from this show, The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Okay.
And it's all centered in controversy because she's 31, has kids from a previous marriage, and is currently facing like domestic assault allegations. But they're going to put her at the center of this network television show. And people are going to follow along with it just to hate on it.
Yeah.
It's going to do numbers.
Well, also remember, though, and I bet you Joan would agree with this, that people watch trash on TV to make them feel better about themselves.
Amen. That's right. That's why you've got the 8,000-pound sisters or whatever it is. TLC. That's all TLC
That's
airs.
also just fascinating to see the human body,
But I think
pushed
that
to the
you
limit.
feel better about yourself, even though, you just ate that extra slice of pizza.
You say that as someone has left a full cheesecake in the break room.
I know, I saw that.
It's
You know what? Nobody has dived or dove. Nobody has doven or dived, whatever. Nobody has
Taken
cut
a
it up
dive.
yet. Yeah, nobody's opened up that
we don't
cheesecake
have any
yet.
No.
paper plates, and no one wants to do dishes.
Yes, it's sitting out in the middle of the break room. It should be in a refrigerator. Don't eat that thing.
Anyway, moving right along, because nobody cares about the cheesecake in the break room. So you just heard Joe Kent on with Sean Ryan talking about, and this was 3 months before Donald Trump was elected, talking about the threat that Iran is. Now this is Joe Kent, and we called it. Joan called it. He ended up on Tucker Carlson almost immediately after he resigned. Listen.
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't. 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against actually developing a nuclear weapon since 2004. That's been in place since 2004. That's available in the public sphere. But then also we had no intelligence to indicate that fatwa was being disobeyed or it was on the cusp of being lifted.
All right, so can I just say that for a guy who was the head of Trump's counterterrorism, does he really think that Iran is going to follow their own fatwa? I mean, obviously, these nations lie. Obviously, this is something that they are willing to lie. A lot of people, because this fatwa, when it goes back to 2003, 2004. I mean, it goes back a long way. And so, to me, I think that he is, for Joe Kent, for him saying, oh, yeah, well, Iran says they're not into getting a nuclear weapon and they have decided that we're not going to do this. I think that's obviously something that they did to quell any kind of suspicion. It wasn't actually something that, okay, here's what I would ask. If that was true, then why were they so secretive when it came to the Iranian nuclear deal, and they didn't want anybody to investigate their nuclear facilities? Anyone? Joe Kent? Follow-up question maybe by Tucker Carlson? Anyone? There was no follow-up question. This was the Tucker Carlson interview with Joe Kent was nothing but we're right and everybody else is wrong, right? And everybody's sort of nodding their head. There was no follow-up question. There was no challenging of Joe Kent in anything that he said. So that would be my question. If there was no real look for no real attempt by Iran to develop nuclear weapons, then why are they so secretive about their nuclear program? I mean, it's a simple question. I mean, I watched a good part of this interview with Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson, and you could shoot holes right through almost everything that Joe Kent said.
I was like, maybe you're just pretending to be dumb. Now I don't think it's an act.
There you go. It's exactly right. So, no, we cannot trust Iran not to lie to the world. I mean, you want to count up some Iranian lies? They deny funding terrorism. They'll deny that rockets sent from their proxies or their nation are sent into Israel and are killing children, even though we can see exactly where they're coming from via satellite technology. So Iran lies all the time. So why in the world would anyone believe, Joe Kent, why would anyone actually believe that a nation of terror, that a nation that funds terror, would actually obey this fatwa? So stupid. Why are you laughing in there, Sam?
Your pronunciation, it's a funny word no matter who says it.
Am I saying it wrong?
I don't know. I mean,
a lot of folks say it was a diplomatic tool and nothing more. Yeah.
Fatwa.
I don't know. Well, let's listen back real quick.
Was Iran on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon?
No, they weren't, 3 weeks ago when this started, and they weren't in June either. I mean, the Iranians have had a religious ruling, a fatwa, against...
Fatwa. Whatever.
It's
a religious ruling.
It doesn't translate well.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
English tongue.
And by the way, I'm not exactly trusting of their religious rulings either in Iran. So for me, I think that part of what they're doing here is, in my opinion, they are cherry picking certain pieces of history and not looking at the behavior of Iran over the past, 30, 40 years. When they've been out, killing gay people and starving their people and killing their own citizens. I mean, saying that Israel has no right to exist. I could go on and on with this, but everybody knows, except for apparently Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson. So to me, here's the deal. If you believe that Israel is leading Donald Trump by the nose, and if you believe that Iran has no interest in nuclear weapons, then you can just be a lapdog and you can just, listen to Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson all day long. And then he'll, again, be on The View. He'll end up on Candace Owens. He'll end up on the networks. And nobody will actually challenge what he is saying.
Just to point out, the majority of the people that believe that also believe that men can be women and vice versa. And,
no, I think there's some conservatives. There are some conservatives who believe they're very anti-Israel. Well, and that's fine.
Well, but just saying that you're lumping yourselves in with that crowd is what I'm...
Yes, exactly. Let's see here. Again, don't forget that back in 2020, Joe Kent encouraged President Trump to bomb Iran via social media. This, again, was put in place back in 2004. And in 2020, Kent told the president to bomb Iran's nuclear capabilities. So my question would be then, what changed? I mean, as I said, he was under investigation, so he quit. He's going to become the darling of people, again, like Tucker Carlson and the other media outlets that are supportive of this whole anti-Israel narrative. He'll write a book, and he'll become famous. I bet you he'll probably become a military analyst for CNN.
I was thinking he might get a hold of Jake Tapper's publicist.
Right, but I think that's what he'll probably become. He'll probably become a military analyst, a terrorism analyst for CNN. Because if he had just gotten fired by Donald Trump and he didn't go out in a blaze of glory, then he wouldn't become relevant. He wouldn't become famous. I don't know if he'd end up on Tucker Carlson or not, whatever. But this way, he quits and he burns the place down on the way out. But he was under investigation, and we'll have to see where that investigation goes. By the way, I've got a lot more on this interview between Joe Kent and Tucker Carlson coming up in the next hour as well.